Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So much stuff to get to on this mini Friday. Friday Light, I call it. It's Thursday. It's George. Where do we start? You know, we were just talking off the air about Johnny Depp, and Anthony goes, can you, think that maybe she's awful and you can support Johnny? And, they're all crazy. Of course they're all crazy. It's hard to listen to 90% of the crap that's going on in that case. I had more people talk to me about that case yesterday than a lot of other stuff. I think part of it is because we're kind of, it's comfort food of not having to really worry about, Johnny Depp is not, the only bomb he has is at the box office, right? Right. The only collapsing of stocks is whatever stockbroker he played in a movie that's falling apart. So it's that comfort food. But then it comes to, well, can you support him because she's a woman? She's an awful human being. That's it. I mean, Johnny's no peach. Let's be real. He had a lot of problems, and he has a weird British accent. And somebody pointed out yesterday, man, he looks a little bit like he's trying to turn into a, is it plastic surgery? The hair, he looks like Mickey Rourke. I think we could absolutely support Johnny. I mean, my God, she said, and this is her on a phone. I didn't punch you. I was hitting you. It's not punching you. You didn't get punched. You got hit. I did not blanking deck you. I was hitting you. But you're fine. I didn't hurt you. You're a blanking baby. You're such a baby. Grow the blank up. You're right. She sounds wonderful. Hashtag me too crazy. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Civility back at the White House, according to Chris Wallace. But Chris Wallace, who's over at CNN Plus, and if you don't know what it is, you're not the only one. They started about a month ago where they rolled everything out. So CNN Plus rolls out this big thing because we're like, we need more of CNN. And so they spent a lot of money to get Chris Wallace. I think they paid him $7 or $8 million a year. So he comes over, and of course, within a few days, CNN Plus is crashing. The money itself that they've poured into it is insane. And I'm talking about insane. Huge. They spent $300 million. They have 150,000 subscribers so far. They're getting zero play. But Chris Wallace does his thing. And yesterday, Jen Psaki came on the program. And he has a very interesting question for old Psaki. And that is, hey, Biden, why is he still hiding?
Why has President Biden been so sheltered from the press?
In what way? He just did a press conference several weeks ago.
I'm going to come back at you on that. In his first year, Joe Biden held 2 solo news conferences in the White House. And take a look at this. In his first year, Mr. Biden sat down for 28 interviews. That compares to 95 in the same period of time for Donald Trump and 162 for Barack Obama. By comparison, Jen, that's sheltered.
Yeah, that's not a lot, and it's just not. We talk about it. He doesn't give press conferences for how long? 2 press conferences in 14 months? That's insane. Well, yeah, but, he has some press. Well, we're talking about press conferences where he comes out and he discusses stuff, not where he's standing next to the president of Poland or those, a press conference with, some leaders in NATO. None of that's a press conference where, hey, the media gets to ask you real questions. And the sit downs, as we know, go a lot further. Trump and Obama gave a lot. And with Trump, my God, everywhere seemed to be a press conference. And because he never stopped asking questions, answering questions. So she responds, push back, if you will.
Well, but the statistic you didn't include there, Chris, is how many times did he take questions from reporters at the White House? I think it was about
he's had
double
two solo news conferences.
No, beyond that. I mean, nearly every day at the White House, he takes questions from the White House press corps.
I'll tell you exactly why that's different, because when you're standing there, you can take a question, you can answer it, you can slough it off, and you move on. It in no way compares, and oftentimes he gives a partial answer and walks away. It in no way compares to to sitting down with a reporter for 20 minutes, 30 minutes. It's not the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other side of it, and I think this is very important, is you act, Jen, like no other president has ever done that. Obama and Trump never talked to the media like that. They never walked out getting ready to get on the helicopter or when they're walking outside or anywhere that they go with the White House press corps with them where they're going to open up a new union factory or something like that. They never talked to him. They only did one-on-one meetings. No, he's done 2 press conferences, 28 interviews. Obama doubled that. Trump did almost 100. Obama didn't double it. Obama did what? 165, I think they said? He was always giving interviews. Well, he liked to hear himself talk. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's a reason for that. It's simple. What are you going to do with him? You're not going to roll him out there every day. He can't go a day without continuing to put his foot in his mouth and for this to become more of an issue. And it has nothing to do with, you sound like his politics. No. He should not be in this position. I saw yesterday, Bernie said, I've not ruled out, 24, running in 24. And I'm like, well, Bernie's far more cogent than Biden. Far more. There's no doubt in my mind. He's older, but he's more together than Biden. That's a problem. It is. So, yeah, they're hiding him for a reason. But I said this when he ran. You can hide while you're campaigning, especially in the atmosphere we were in. But you can't hide from the job. And the job is to answer questions. And he stumbles and fumbles at that. He makes stories up on a daily basis when it comes to, when I was a truck driver. When were you a truck driver? Please, tell me. And we're all curious. Oh, my Lord. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. He's launched a big, giant weapon of mass destruction. Ooh. Yes, that's right. The Pooter launched something. What do they call it? The Satan 2? I don't know what happened to Satan 1. But why? Good question, right? What's he doing? What's this for?
Russia releasing video of this intercontinental ballistic missile test, modernizing a key strategic weapon just as it presses forward with its new offensive in the Donbas region of Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin bragging that the launch was a momentous event.
This truly unique weapon will strengthen the combat potential of our armed forces, reliably ensure Russia's security from external threats, and provide food for thought for those who try to threaten our country.
Well, hold on a second. Nobody threatened you. You went into another country. So the external threat in this case was you. And you decided to go into another country. I find that to be a little weird. Not really. This goes back to, I feel like I'm picking on Biden here, but in this case, I am. Why is it that he gets to saber rattle all he wants? Why is it that he gets to push the envelope? I mean, based on the way it's going now, shouldn't he just be able to say, hey, guys, all of Europe is going to become Russia soon. So if you don't do what I say, if you don't comply, I'm going to blow you guys all up. Could he not say that? Do you really want to die for Moldova? Well, they're part of NATO. Do you really want to die for, the whole Sweden-Finland thing is another one of those things. He's threatened them already. That's like saying, hey, we're not really good friends. We've been enemies in the past. But I'm going to tell you who you can and can't date and who you can and can't be friends with. What? Yeah. So he's got the Satan too. Because I don't know what happened to Satan 1. Something. Yeah, well, you know, it got a little loose. Didn't work the way we thought. Happens sometimes. I don't know what we're going to do about it. Can't get it back, though. And there was no doubt that if you saw where he fired it out of, it was it was near, like, the finish area as well. So, but the Finns aren't scared of him. The Finns have already kicked the Russians' ass on a few occasions in World War II. So, and based on all the things we're seeing right now with their military, and their military is awful. We'll have more about that, including something I had to fact check yesterday and look several places because I did not believe that was true. It is, I was shocked. I was like, there's no way. Yeah, we'll talk about that. So much more. Masking. Would you have to mask in a plane again sooner rather than later? What is the Department of Justice going to do? Because they're signaling a different move where it seemed like they weren't going to do anything. Talk about that. So many good things to get to. More on immigration. Healthy Cell. Last night, I'm going to tell you guys this. Before I started taking Healthy Cell, which is an ingestible gel. So it's these little packets, right? They look like, you know, the size of like ketchup packets, maybe a little bit bigger. And you just tear the top off and you drink it really quick, or you go and you put it inside of, water, whatever you want to do. And you drink it down and they taste really good. Some of them taste great. I didn't get any sleep. So I started taking REM sleep. So lo and behold, I'm averaging, and mind you, I rarely sleep because I work so late. I got my other business. I have 2 shows. I do all these things. I was averaging maybe 2.5 hours sleep. A good night was like 2 hours and 50 minutes. I'm averaging 4 hours of sleep, but my sleep side of things is through the roof as far as how well I'm sleeping. And that's all because of Healthy Cell. You will love it. It's got all the things your body needs to get you through all the sleep cycles, and it also will help keep your body cool. That's the beauty of this ingestible gel. It is the nutrients you need. Instead of taking pills or any of those things that your body just doesn't absorb right, this is what it's all about. They've also got Focus and Recall, which I take in the afternoon. But try these things. You will not be disappointed. Go to healthycell.com/Chad. You're going to sleep so much better. That's healthycell.com/Chad. Use that promo code Chad, 20% off right there in your first order. healthycell.com/Chad. healthycell.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
One of these boys, give me a bowl of chili with plenty of peppers. One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
Ukrainian fighters clinging on to their last stronghold in Mariupol. A commander inside the Azovstal steel factory telling the Washington Post the Russians outnumber defenders by 10-1. We're probably facing our last days, if not hours, says Serhiy Voyna. He vowed to fight on, not giving in to yet another Russian demand to surrender today. More than 1,000 civilians are said to be sheltering here.
Yeah, so women, children, elderly. To give you an idea of how big this place is, apparently it is 4 square miles right there on the waterway. So it is a city itself, and there is some underground, and there's some tunnels, and there's 1,000 people. They wouldn't say how many soldiers they have left, which is a smart thing. But the Russians and Putin said today, you had till this time to surrender. And they said, well, we're not going to do that. And then Putin said, well, we're not going to attack you, but nothing's going to get in. So we're going to starve you out. And that's where they're at this moment in time. It's a horrible thing. And this is the Azov group. Now, if you don't know who they are, if you want to talk about the denazification, the Azov group is essentially paramilitary militia that has been fighting on the eastern side of Ukraine in the Donbass region. They are hardcore nationalist, right-wing, super extremist, and in some cases, yeah, they've got more than a few links to the Nazis in their past. So they're badasses, and they're fine. You know, they've said, this guy has said over and over again, I just want to get everybody out of here. We don't care what happens to us. We've accepted the fact that this is it. This is our fate. They're not going to go down without a fight. And that's the kind of guy that's running head on into fire. But it is going to get really interesting as more and more countries pop up and say, hey, we'll act as a third party here. Let's get these people out. And at some point you look around and go, where's the UN? Where's the Red Cross? Somebody goes in there, right, with their little blue helmets and little white helmets and the Red Cross on it, and they wander in there and they say, you know what? Do not shoot, and if you do, there'll be a price to pay. We're coming here to get these civilians out of here. And this is where, again, our leader, if we can awaken him from his nap, should be asking serious questions to the likes of the people that are representing us at the UN and elsewhere. Why are we not sending in a third party to get these people out when we understand what's going on? Well, we don't want to anger him. How about he doesn't want to anger us? Well, we don't want to get drawn into something. We're already involved, as is NATO and a lot of the rest of the world who's not part of NATO. So why not say, we're doing this, and you could shoot and kill a bunch of innocent people who are just trying to rescue a bunch of other innocent people, or you can show some form of humanity. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. I really thought it yesterday, Phil. I thought of you. I thought for sure this was Olympus has fallen and White House down when I got news about the Capitol. Talk about that. I was like, where's Channing Tatum? Gerard Butler? Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Did some alerts yesterday about the old thing that was happening at the Capitol. Suspicious airplane. What? Could pose a threat. Oh, my God. Oh, yeah. It was all happening. Parachuters. I'm like, man, this is going down. Wolverines, let's get them all together. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's go. Everybody, back to your high schools. We're going. We're going to fight. You're like, is it the North Koreans? Is it Russia? Right? Is it Sweden? I want to make sure we're all inclusive. Some form of bandit LGBTQ 2+. IEOU? Who could it be? Black nationalists? Is it the Jews? The Jews probably get blamed for it. Who is it? Panic in the streets. I called Channing Tatum. I called Gerard Butler. I said, I think the White House is down. I think somebody's going to try to take Olympus. But no.
About a mile north here at the U.S. Capitol, people were panicking. That low-flying plane had triggered a threat alert. Evacuate now. Aircraft intrusion was the message that members and staffers received on their phones. And in fact, the Capitol was briefly evacuated.
Oh, my. So, Chad, it was something. Well, no.
All this because no one had bothered to inform, not the FAA, not the Army, had informed the U.S. Capitol Police about the plane that was heading into the highly restricted airspace here around the U.S. Capitol. About 20 minutes later, The plane was back at Joint Base Andrews, and the all clear came.
It was a bunch of parachuters parachuting into Nationals Park where they were playing the D-backs. That's it. And somebody didn't call somebody or send an email, or I don't even know what you're supposed. I don't know what the protocol is in that point. Do you just call, hey guys, it's Joint, Andrews Air Force. We're going to be sending some of our parachuting team out to jump into the Nats Park, and just want to let you guys know that. So when you see the plane, don't freak out. I don't know if there's an email you sent or what, but somebody didn't do it, and there we are. It was not the White House going down. It was not Olympus falling. It was not the invasion of the North Koreans and the LGBTQ+. It was not invasion of anything other than just somebody didn't send an email. But the panic was real. And I thought, well, this will be something to talk about tomorrow. Speaking of airplanes, it's happening. They're going to sue. What? Yeah, they're going to sue. That's right. So people were freed from their mask. They were freed from their masking, if only for a couple hours. But hold on, it might not be as bad as we imagine it to be.
At the request of the CDC, the Justice Department is appealing a federal judge's ruling that overturned its travel mask mandate. The agency saying an order requiring masking in the indoor transportation corridor remains necessary for the public health. It comes as millions of Americans have already dropped masks on planes and public transit. The White House today pressed on whether it will fight to put masks back on.
We expect there to be ups and downs in the pandemic, and we certainly want the CDC to continue to have this authority.
For now, the White House is recommending travelers still wear masks.
Yeah, so what is going on, you ask, my friends? Well, let me tell you what's going on. They are appealing it, but so far, they are not asking for a stay. That's the interesting part. So they're going to go and appeal the actual case itself. But it doesn't look like there's going to be any kind of stay put into it, that they're going to be asking for, at least not now. Now, things could change later on today, tomorrow. The reality is, at this point in time, there's 10 days left in this thing. Tell me why you need the masking mandate. I'm trying to figure out. Tell me why. Well, we've seen a few spikes in the eastern corridor. What exactly does that mean? Like, are there hospitals overrun? Are the mobile crematoriums? Is it it's or just that you saw number spikes in certain areas and you're waiting for something, or is it you just don't like the fact that you are having to give up some power? I'm curious. I mean, I think it's a fair question to ask, isn't it?
You are in close proximity to someone, but the best filtration systems are on planes.
Yeah, we keep hearing that, but you know what? It's ridiculous. These things are not safe. Watching the people, especially celebrities and politicians, they made it a point at the White House to say, he's on Air Force One. He wore a mask. Biden did. Why? How many times has he been vaxxed? Hopefully 1,000. We can't have him die because the alternative is awful. Everybody on the airplane is tested and have been vaxxed. What are you worried about? What is this show of insanity? You got to believe the science. The science of insanity? Enough. So they're going to appeal it? Do I think anything's going to come out of it? I do not. Not as far as like in the next day or two, everybody's going to put their mask on. Of course, they're telling everybody, you guys should really just, for us, you guys should probably wear your mask. The airplane industry has been saying for months, hey, enough. It's time to end. Enough.
is not a requirement, so people can choose, even as we recommend it. But to be clear, we are recommending everyone wear masks on planes. That is what the CDC is recommending. That is the public health guidance we are following.
Why are they recommending that, Jen? Why? Psaki bomb. Why are they recommending it? Tell me again why they're recommending that. What is it about that plane? And the argument I always hear from people is like, every time I go somewhere, I get a cold or something. I'm like, you act like the plane is the only place you go. Phil, you went to Mexico. Did you actually get out of the plane and hang out in Mexico, or did you stay in the plane?
No, we went into Mexico.
There you go. Well, yeah, but the plane probably would make him sick, if anything. He was like, oh, God, I can't. I swear. And the pushback from people who listen is hilarious because they'll send me, tweets and texts about how horrible, Chad, how dead, you're not listening to science. And I'm like, how am I not listening to science? I mean, and I get it. You don't like Donald Trump. And because Donald Trump is evil and bad, as somebody pointed out to me today, and I asked him, well, where's all the facts of his evil and badness? And he goes, well, Biden's not, he's struggling, but it's better than the alternative. And I go, well, what's the alternative? Well, it could have been Trump. I said, well, okay, what about Trump? I mean, well, there was a lot of chaos. I'm like, chaos, you're focusing on things that don't matter, right? Chaos, his tweets and his press conferences and the wackiness that surrounded him, the fights with the media, but the governance side of things. Well, I mean, he did a horrible job with COVID. I'm like, more people died under Biden. He goes, no way. I said, yeah. And he looked it up. He goes, oh, you're right. I said, yeah. And then the things that he threw. And look, I'm no fan of Trump. I didn't vote for him either time. Wouldn't vote for him a third time if he ran. All that being said, I can compartmentalize enough and go, yeah, he's a nut job over here in some of this stuff, but I did like the way that he governed. In many instances, I think he did. He was, first of all, I thought more than a few occasions, he was rather mild in a lot of the ways that he looked at things. And then he also had his wacky views. But you just can't have normal conversations with people because it's the mask. The red hat represents Trump, and for everybody else, the mask represents you not liking Trump. You don't like Trump. And I'm showing my displeasure with Trump and how much I'm part of whatever cult that's out there by wearing the mask. And so if that means I have to wear a mask forever to show everybody that I'm in solidarity with their disdain for that guy, I'll do it. And you're like, okay. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. By the way, I want to talk about something here really quick. Speaking of traveling, I heard this today and I started laughing. And I'm like, okay, wait, hold on. Travel, it's going to be busy. We know that. Why?
Excitement building for the so-called summer of revenge travel. United CEO saying overnight, the demand is the strongest it's been in my 30 years in the industry. But that also means higher prices. Average domestic airfare now spiking up to $360. It was $100 less this time last year.
Phil, have you ever revenge traveled? Because you like to travel.
I've never revenge traveled, but man, I might have to now.
I don't even know what it is. Who am I getting revenge on? Did somebody wrong me that I didn't know about in another city or country that I must visit to show them I too can visit there? Is that how that works? It's the summer of revenge travel. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at you, text the program. So much stuff still to squeeze into. Man, God, we got a lot of stuff. Might touch a little bit on the Johnny Depp testimony, just his accents and whatever. I don't even know what he's going to show up dressed as today. I have no idea. I wish he would come in character every day in a different outfit. He wants to. Like his press people like, you cannot wear a poofy shirt and a bandana and guy liner. You're not a pirate, right? Oh, 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. Twitter, Rough Greens, ruffgreens.com/Chad, ruffgreens.com/Chad. It's amazing what it's done for my dogs, especially my older dog, Doodle. I talk about it all the time. I've got a couple people here that have, over the last couple months, started putting their dogs on Rough Greens. They've got older dogs that are not near the end, but they're definitely well in the middle. And they talk about the energy they have. They talk about how they love the taste of it. It's just powder you sprinkle on top of your dog's food. It gets all the nutrients out of the food that the dogs aren't getting, because that food is supposed to be shelf stable. It's supposed to live a long time in a bag, not so much be alive. And that's what Rough Greens does. And it's done wonders for my dog, Doodle. Right now, they want you to try it before you buy it. ruffgreens.com/Chad. ruffgreens.com/Chad. You go there, you're going to get a free bag. You cover the cost of shipping. It's a few bucks. They're going to send you a bag for free. Try it for free. ruffgreens.com/Chad. Or call 833-MY-DOG-77. Rough Greens makes any pet food better. Chad Benson Show.
Deep states? No. Deep doo-doo? Yeah. The Chad Benson Show.
Yeah. A lot of people talk to me about the whole Johnny Depp thing. And it's interesting. I mean, it's watching this thing. I mean, Fox is playing it. I've seen it on CNN on more than numerous occasions. It's not like the OJ trial, but it's getting a lot of run. Can't remember a trial really in a long time where you're getting this kind of run from a lot of places. Now, you may get a few things here and there from high profiles, but this one is like, there's times when they're on it.
Mr. Depp, have you ever physically assaulted Miss Heard?
Never.
Have you ever sexually assaulted Miss Heard?
Never. Certainly not.
What have you lost as a result of Miss Heard making these allegations against you?
Nothing less than everything. Because when the allegations were made, rapidly circling the globe, telling people that I was a drunken, cocaine-fueled menace who beat women, suddenly in my 50s, it's over. You're done.
Never. You just feel like never. Never. Some of the stuff she's done, though, man, I just... Was that crazy scale, Phil? Is that a crazy... There's a crazy scale, right? Sexy crazy?
Hot crazy.
Hot crazy. She falls into the hot crazy, that's for sure. There is... she definitely lands square in the middle of hot crazy. But did you beat your then wife? Never. Suddenly I become this... I love the... what have you lost? No less than everything. Really? That seems like a lot. You're but I get it. Like, his career is, damaged. Now, he'd readily admit he had problems with drink and opioids and things like that. That's not a shocker. I don't think any of us are shocked with that. So did he lose everything? That's you're not in the Pirates of the Caribbean movie. At least this one. I wouldn't be surprised if this one comes out, maybe it doesn't do okay, and they bring Johnny back or they don't have a Captain Sparrow, they have somebody else. What about that salacious allegation?
Depp going into gruesome detail about Heard's alleged abuse. Among his allegations, that Heard hit him, severed part of his middle finger, and soiled his side of the bed after he asked for a divorce.
Then the fecal delivery, and saying that it was the dogs. And I could not agree with her. I'd lived with those dogs. I'd up their fun. It was not the dogs.
It was not the dogs. I've picked up their poop. That's not their poop. I know their poop. I'm an expert in dog poop. I'm playing one in a movie. I've had to study it. I know human fecal matter when I see it. Amber. Why did you poop on my side of the bed, Amber? That's also a name. Amber. Yeah. You get that Amber name. Watch out, kids. One more from Depp.
Now he's warning people about cancel culture.
It's so far out of hand now that I can promise you that no one is safe.
No, nobody's safe, and that's the reality of it. Again, cancel culture, it's different things. That doesn't exist. Whatever you want to call it, punitive culture, it's real. And yes, some people are able to rise above it, and sometimes people getting canceled for certain things, people's memories are short, and other people get canceled for stuff, and their lives are flipped upside down. And, somebody like Johnny Depp being quote-unquote canceled, while his career was bigger, he also, it's not like he's starving. But for a lot of people out there who get in trouble for saying something at work or something they posted a while ago or said on a video game in a chat room, their lives get turned upside down. That's very real. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Battle is raging on in Mariupol. Talked about it. We've talked about it on more than a few occasions. Not going to get better. It's only going to get worse from here on out. They're making their last stand in a factory that is some 4 square miles long in the eastern part of Europe, and it's going to get much, much, much worse before it gets better. And we're going to watch potentially, if there is no evacuations, and based on what Putin said today, which is he's not going to try to take the factory, he's just going to cordon it off and stop people from getting in and getting out, essentially starving, cutting every opportunity for them to get food, water, things of that nature out, so they eventually starve.
Vladimir Putin has already said he's kind of announced his victory in that city. What we're now waiting to see is whether these civilians can get out of that steel plant itself. There were reports that something like 1,000 civilians were hunkered down in those basements underneath. So that will be the priority of the Ukrainians, getting them out.
Yeah. And I don't know what that is. I've been saying, isn't it about time? Because he's out there going, threatening the world again. He's very much like Kim Jong-un right now, firing off a new missile. The difference is Kim Jong-un's not engaged in an actual war. He is. So, and then everybody's like, oh, we don't want to anger him. Why? Well, because he might use a nuclear weapon. Do you really think he's going to do that? I mean, honestly, do you really think he's going to do it? Well, he might do it. Well, then what do you think our response should be? Well, we should just tell him we're sorry after he uses it? Or that maybe he gets hit back? Well, we don't want to start that. Well, based on that theory, shouldn't he just be able to say that the entire world's mine? Because if not, I'll blow it up. Oh, well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. So you got all these people in there, and the question is, what's going to happen? Their soldiers are the Azov group. That's been a sore, source for them in the past, the Ukrainians. And I remember reading an article a couple months ago when this thing was getting close, and it said, look, this is their worst nightmare. This is the Ukraine's worst nightmare and their greatest weapon. And it is this group of militia, partial military, paramilitary. I mean, it's a lot of things, but they have a white nationalist background, or nationals. I don't say white. They're all, They have a nationalist background. They're ultra nationalists. They subscribe to some of the Nazi ideology. Not all of them, but they have been fighting these Russians for the last decade and a half. And it's crazy who they are. And they're not going to go down without a fight. That being said, they're hunkered in there, and them being hunkered in there with all of those people realizing they can't get out. And maybe this is where you go, hey, UN, don't you got those guys with the little blue helmets? Pick one of the nations there that's very neutral and say they're going to go in and either supply these people or remove these people. Even if you want Russians, you can have a soldier to escort them to make sure they're not bringing weapons or anything else in there. And these people can be escorted out there, the women, the children, the elderly. Won't. And it's going to end up being something horrendous. And could you imagine being there right now? Just for a second? Inside of a factory where there are air raid sirens going off that you have no idea from screw day to day, from hour to hour, if you're going to survive much longer. You're low on food. You're low on water. You have virtually no medical supplies. And you're facing a barbaric army. And by the way, a barbaric army is an understatement when it comes to so much of, if you know anything about World War II, that when the race was there to get to Berlin and everybody got to Berlin, and then the story started coming out that along the way, the Russians raped 1 million, 2 million women. God only knows what the real number is, but well close to 1 million plus. And that's why I saw this yesterday, and I thought to myself, this cannot be real. This cannot be real. So it's a intercepted audio of a Russian wife of a soldier essentially going, yeah, go, do your thing, fight there, rape women, that's fine. I'm going to allow it. Just wear protection. And I'm like, no way. It was on Radio Free Europe, Radio Liberty. But if you look in their past, that's kind of been their thing, hasn't it? Yeah. Barbaric. So we'll see what takes place in the coming days, but they launched a new missile yesterday. What's that missile called?
The RS-28 Sarmat missile, sometimes called the Satan II, was revealed back in 2016. Russia claims it can carry multiple nuclear warheads and has a range of more than 6,800 miles, making it potentially capable of striking the U.S. The Pentagon says the test was not a surprise. But a senior U.S. defense official still said the launch was not something that would be done by a responsible nuclear power in the current tense environment.
Well, he's not responsible. He's saber rattling. He's doing the things that he wants to do because nobody ever looks at him and says, you know what? No. Well, yeah, but we don't want to start a war. No, you don't talk about starting a war. You just can, every once in a great while, you can remind him, hey, we got weapons too of mass destruction. Hey, our stuff works. This is what you really want? I mean, you want to destroy the world? That's your goal, is to destroy the world? Is that really your goal? But nobody is. And everybody's kind of tiptoeing around because we don't want to get drawn in. We don't want boots on the ground. We don't want any of those things. Totally agree. But you don't think that by allowing him to run roughshod and to threaten people, that that's not going to embolden him? Well, it might embolden him. But you got to look at, again, I go back to this. Name me a leader outside of Zelensky right now that you think that guy's got the cojones? Do you see anybody in Europe? It's certainly not Macron. It's not Boris, right? Maybe the Polish leader, but who's pounding down and just crushing people and as far as, like scaring the Russians with their words and getting in their faces and not backing down? None. And it sure isn't the hell this president, who I remind you told Zelensky to what? To leave, to flee his country, to run away. Oh, yeah. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from all of you. They're going to be fighting in court for the masking baloney, which, again, we're still sitting here talking about. And I don't even know what we're talking about anymore when it comes to COVID. It's not going anywhere. Okay. It's here. All right. So's the flu. A good majority of people have caught it, and you're still trying to play a game of we want to get everybody masked as fast as possible, potentially. Oh, okay. So what do you mean? Well, we want people to be, we gotta make sure they're ready, just in case. Okay, just in case what? Well, something comes back. Okay, well, I think people will be ready for that. Now, when you mean something comes back, do you mean something comes back and you want us to put on a mask and that mask doesn't actually have to work, but you just want to be able to say, I made you put on a mask? Even though the science, because we're supposed to believe it, and people come out, well, the cloth masks don't really, well, they do work. No, this guy over here and that guy and that person you like and respect, even though you didn't like these two who've been saying the same thing, they say it doesn't work. And then then over here, they say they don't work. And then they finally admit over here that it doesn't work. But you're still about that. Man, it's crazy. That's where we are. You do wonder, when is it? Because, does the World Health Organization just go, it's over. It's now an endemic. And we're launching a new phase. It's endemic. Does that happen? Probably not. Not while the money's flowing in. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. We got a lot to get to. Immigration, Title 42 going away. People are asking the question, why are certain groups getting special dispensations to get in here and other groups aren't? Is that true? Is it not true? Talk about that. The flood of how many migrants are going to come over here in the next several weeks is going to be massive. And is it already begun? Are we just not even paying that much attention to it? And what kind of nightmare is this going to be for the president? Because I think this is another one where you're getting more and more now. We're breaking away from the party, the president, and saying, all right, we can't do this. And not just Democrats that are on border states. Democrats in other states are saying, this is bad. Can't have this. But nothing from the president. Nothing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show. What's your Twitter? Eden Pure is awesome. It's incredible. It is a air purifier, right? So this is an amazing system. It's a little box. Plug it straight in the wall. Absolutely takes away all the stink. The stink, stank, stunk, gone. And it does it fast. It's an air purifier with no filters to buy. So I got 3 of these at home, and my father-in-law passed away. We decided we're going to sell our house. We're going to move into that house, and but he smoked, and we got 3 Eden purifiers, and the house smells like it's brand new. It's incredible. If you've got litter box, whatever it is that you have, and you got some stink, stank, stunk, and you need to get rid of it, it's Eden Pure. So you go to EdenPureDeals.com. You use discount code CHAD3. EdenPureDeals.com. Use discount code CHAD3. You're going to save $200 right there. Shipping is absolutely free, and you're going to smell the difference, as I like to say, and it works fast. EdenPureDeals.com. Use discount code CHAD3. EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code CHAD3. Chad Benson Show.
Running with scissors sounds great compared to this.
Say what?
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Let's talk about it. What's trending? Find out the fun, the frivolity, the insanity on things like Twitter and Google. The Google. Let's start over Google Trends. Celtics yesterday. 5 takeaways from their game. They won. The Bulls, Deebo Samuel. Real Madrid, all trending. John Wayne Gacy's tapes, Netflix, Conversations with a Killer, is trending. There's a rapper named Pooh Shiesty. They just run out of names now. He was sentenced to more than 5 years on conspiracy for some other thing. I don't know. And on 420? What? What? Head over to Google. I mean, it's Twitter. Ukrainian officials prepared to have talks on Mariupol about evacuations, in particular, some of the places they're calling, really one of the last stands, an Alamo-like situation going on in a horrible, giant factory where they're surrounded. So we'll see what ends up coming from that. Today, Putin announced that he is not going to. He's celebrating. Look, we have the city; it's ours. We're not going to bomb you out. We're just not going to. We're just going to surround you and not let anything in or out. So you'll eventually die. That's kind of the way they're going. People are criticizing Wimbledon, who've decided that if you're Belarusian and if you're Russian, you will not be playing in Wimbledon this year. Is that a fair thing? It's different, right? I look at it in a different way. You're a single player on a team. I mean, so you play soccer. There's lots of Russians and Belarusians and Ukrainians who are playing throughout Europe professionally in soccer. They're not told they can't play on their teams. This is a much different thing. I understand why you suspend the nation, like Russia was suspended from trying to qualify for the World Cup. That's a national thing, and it's all Russians, and your country sponsors it. It's a totally different thing. But doing that, that's a tough one. I don't know how I feel about that. And, Phil, I would like you and producer Anthony to feel old today. Happy 63rd birthday to Robert Smith of The Cure. 63 years old. He got a little bit bigger in his later life. Look at some of the outfits. He looks like a crazy lady. What?
Only a little?
Yeah. He's got stretch pants, so they're stretchy now. Chad is not very nice. I love The Cure. I do. As a kid growing up, I saw The Cure, I couldn't even tell how many times I saw The Cure. Long Beach Sports Arena. Man, that place was a dump. Still exists, by the way. Also saw Judas Priest there. I always felt like it was take-home part of the arena night. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
So, there's video out of Mike Tyson on an airplane slated to fly out of San Francisco International Airport to Florida. Some guys boarded the airplane. One of them, Mike says, was extremely drunk. Said originally Mike was kind of cool with everybody on the plane, but this dude who was annoying as hell just from watching it would not leave Mike alone. And eventually, after Mike told him on several occasions, leave me alone, Mike did what Mike has been prone to do in the past. Beat his ass. Chad. Yeah, he threw several, not haymakers, right? Because you're kind of in a, he just turned around on the chair. It's like, I don't like you talking to me. You better shut up. You better shut up. And he got off a few, and the guy's kind of bloodied, but not really. Those are more scratches because he's bleeding from like the side of his head. But, and you could tell he was a little drunk. Doesn't give Mike any pass on this. But, and what do you think this cost, Mike? Because the guy went to the police. Now you have to ask the question, what do you think it costs, Mike? How much does it cost him? Does it cost him a couple $100,000? Make the guy go away? I don't think Mike's going to go to jail over this. But you never know. It was on an airplane, and Anthony so rightly pointed out, it's a federal issue at this point. So TMZ reached out to his camp. I'm like, Mike has a camp still? He's got a group of people? Yeah. Well, where was the group of people that said, hey, dude, get away? Enough. They weren't there, were they? No. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. A little while ago, our fearless and feckless leader. What did you say? Fearless leader. He's a little bit feckless. Gave a semi-coherent speech about Ukraine.
This package includes heavy artillery weapons, dozens of howitzers, and 144,000 rounds of ammunition to go with those howitzers. It also includes more tactical drones.
That's good. That's good right there. He's like, it has muskets, beaver pelts.
To modernize Teddy Roosevelt's famous advice,
I knew Teddy.
You will speak softly and carry a large javelin, because we're sending a lot of those in as well.
Oh, look at that. He's getting crazy. But then somebody had to ask him questions about this little pesky thing called Title 42. You guys have heard of that? It's that thing that keeps people on the other side of the border right now because of, anyone? COVID. It's kind of the only thing that was stopping people. Really what it does is, in theory, when the Remain in Mexico policy was here, if you go and apply for asylum, you go through this entire interview process, and it takes up to 2 hours at times. This, with the Title 42, was grab you, take your name down, turn around, and put you back across the border. That is going to be expiring. He answered questions on it.
It is continuing to hear from first of all, there's going to be an appeal by the Justice Department, because as a matter of principle, we want to be able to be in a position where, if in fact it is strongly concluded by the scientists that we need Title 42, that we be able to do that. But there has been no decision on extending Title 42. Thank you.
I felt like he was answering a mass question and finished with Title 42. Did that feel like, because who's appealing what? You're going to let it expire? I don't know. I'm sorry. He's not right for the job. He's been wrong on so many occasions, on so many things throughout his political career. And at this point in time, I look and I think to myself, is this the guy that should be leading us at this time? It's who we have. Now, the alternative is Captain Giggles, and she is nowhere near ready. She's not ready for prime time. She's not. How is the best question? How did you get here? How did you get here? And of course, she's been put in charge of Title 42 in the immigration world. Well, let's talk about immigration and what is going on down there. And the only ones really covering it, Fox, and a few others have brought it up, not based so much on what's happening at the border, but based on the fact that Democrats are starting to make noise that this can't happen. We need to figure this out. We need some sort of plan behind Title 42, and we're not getting it.
The head of the Border Patrol Union tells us for the most part, agents have already stopped enforcing Title 42 when it comes to migrants from Guatemala, Honduras, and El Salvador, those Northern Triangle countries. We are told for the most part, all the Title 42 expulsions are mostly Mexican citizens now.
So mostly Mexican citizens. Mostly Mexican citizens. And then, of course, there was Mayorkas came out and answered some questions like, are you only letting white people in? And he's like, no. Yes. Does the Ukraine, are their people getting the opportunity to get into this country? Yeah. Part of that is on who? Part of it's on us. Well, why is it on us? Well, but we remember we in the Budapest, there was the agreement, the accords that we signed that we're going to essentially protect them. And while we're supplying them with stuff, the reality is that was one of those things where it's like, yeah, we signed it, but we didn't really mean you were going to hold us to it after they gave up the nuclear arms. And if you learn anything out of this, if you were listening to the show and you happen to get nuclear arms, your best thing you should do is to anyone? That's right. Keep your nuclear weapons. That should be it. But Bill Mnuchin goes on about what's happening and how it's happening.
It's been a busy day here in Eagle Pass. Take a look at this video we shot here earlier this morning. As soon as we got out here after the sun rose, we started seeing migrants in the water, pretty large groups of them walking across, a mixture of family units and single adults. Border Patrol wasn't immediately on scene. They are stretched thin these days, so there was a Texas National Guard soldier who had to walk this big group of migrants over to a holding area until agents finally got on scene to start processing these migrants. And under the bridge, as they're being processed, that's what's going on. Then we pan up and look on top of the bridge. Then we see Title 42 expulsions as migrants are being sent back to Mexico. It's a constant revolving door, some coming in, others going out.
Yeah, and that is interesting. They're letting some in, some not in. Are they really following Title 42? Is that still in existence, or is that just kind of one of those things now where they realize it's ending and nobody's paying attention?
More groups this morning, though. Take a look at this video. This was a group of single adult men smiling and waving at our cameras. An entirely different group just down the road. This one, more than 200 people in total who had crossed illegally. Again, Border Patrol resources sucked up here, having to do the paperwork and the processing. Almost all of these migrants you see here were single adults. Again, exact same time as the group that you saw crossing in the water. Then take a look at these photos out of the Rio Grande Valley sector. They're dealing with the exact same thing. These large groups. Border agents down there reporting they encountered two groups totaling 468 migrants in total, mostly single adults. They are over capacity down there, and that is why mass releases have started in their sector as well.
Yeah, and it's going to be that way across the board for the coming days and weeks. You're going to find, I think, more and more people are going to get released, and that's going to put massive pressure on local communities, local charities, who are going to try to figure out in some way, shape, or form how to deal with all of these people that are going to be here. And there's no plan. That's just it. There's no plan. Of all the plans that are available, any plan would be better than the no plan that he has available. And the weird thing is, like I said, I was listening there and I'm like, he's talking about Title 42, no plan to extend it. Then he goes into, it's just, this guy's not all there, and he just has zero plan on what's happening. And he's not even addressing the issue. and it's going to cost him in ways that his party's going to pay for, and they're recognizing it's not just the crazy woke stuff that is going to cost us. It is other things as well, like immigration, inflation, real issues. Oh, the culture war's big, and it makes a lot of noise, but the issues that matter, inflation, energy, potential for war, immigration, flounder town. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. See, I was right, because more people are saying that he started that clip that he did there, that press conference. He started talking about the mask ruling, and then he said Title 40, then he went into Title 42. Man, that's scary. Scary. Oh, my goodness. A lot of stuff still to get to, including an interesting situation that happened with a young child who allegedly stole a bag of chips. The police arrived. There was camera footage. It was evil and bad. Is there more to the story? Of course there is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. MyPillow selling you towels right now at a deep, deep discount. Normally $109.99. And these are amazing towels, right? Cotton's grown here in the USA, 60-day money-back guarantee, 1-year warranty, machine washable, tons of colors. You're going to get 6 of them, 2 big towels, 2 hand towels, 2 washcloths. Just incredible. But instead of paying $109.99, you're going to have $39.99. $39.99. Massive, huge savings. So what are you waiting for, right? Great towels, super absorbent, massive savings, cotton grown here in the USA, not scratchy or lotiony, just a great, amazing towel. 6 of them for $39.99. You go to mypillow.com/Benson. mypillow.com/Benson. Make sure you use that promo code Benson. Deep discounts on all MyPillow products, but take advantage of the $39.99 special for the MyPillow towels. mypillow.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
No need to socially distance while listening to your Chad Benson Show podcast. 4 out of 5 experts say so.
I'm a scientist. There is no corona.
But hurry before they change their mind. You know they will. Chad's podcast found on iTunes, iHeart, Spotify, and wherever you find your favorite COVID-free podcasts.
Oh my gosh. I kind of like it. I'm not going to lie.
This is the Chad Benson Show.
We're talking about Mike Tyson. If you guys haven't heard the news, somebody messed with him on an airplane. Young, almost looks military, just young guys, drunk, stupid, thought they were being funny. And eventually, Mike had enough and, wrongly turned around and punched the guy on a few occasions. He didn't punch him like he didn't rear back and, hit him so hard. It's like, oh my God, I think I'm bleeding inside. He didn't do that kind of thing. But it's not a good thing for him. It wasn't. But we're just talking. It's like, God, what is the need to want to mess or talk to people on an airplane? It feels like I just want to get on the airplane and I want to shut up and I want to do anything. I totally get it. It's all I want to do. That's it. I want to get in the airplane. I'm going to put my headphones on. I'm going to watch whatever the hell I'm going to watch, read whatever I'm going to read, take a nap, whatever it is I'm going to try to do. I don't want to chat. I don't. And it feels like I've never thought about opening up the door on the airplane when it's in flight, which, like you pointed out, Phil, is impossible to do. You're never doing it. But it's just, I don't know if he's going to be arrested, Mike, but I'll tell you what, based on the actions, they were all filming their idiocracy. So I think they just might this will be an out-of-court settlement. Now the question, first of all, you got two things here. You're going to get probably some money, and you've got a story to tell everybody how Mike Tyson threw a bunch of punches at you. Like, there you go. So was it worth it? Yeah, probably. For them, you got a story to tell somebody. Mike Tyson punched me. It was amazing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text your program. Love hearing from all of you. I got so much stuff that I want to try to cram in here. And one of the things I wanted to do was I want to talk about this. We're going to probably do it next hour. And if you miss any of the show, make sure you grab the podcast. This kid gets arrested. And, of course, that happens, right? Kid gets arrested. But how old's the kid? He's 8. It's in Syracuse. Video goes out there, and it's much longer to explain. But it's another one of those things where when we see videos on TV, 99 times out of 100, those videos are a portion of what's happened. A small portion of what's happened. And we don't know the entire thing. We don't know the entire story. And so it's just a very interesting story about a kid. It was, once again, the police are like, oh, we're familiar with him. You're 8 years old. And unless you've done a Make-A-Wish thing, they shouldn't be familiar with you. That's all I'm saying. People are texting. You can text the program and tweet. I thought when I heard this, because Biden gave a speech a while ago talking about $800 million in aid going to the Ukrainians, but somebody asked him a question about Title 42, and I swear that he's answering a question about the mask and then finishes with he finishes with
an appeal.
A Title 42 answer. So starts the answer with masking and ends with 42?
Is continuing to hear from first of all, there's going to be an appeal by the Justice Department because as a matter of principle, we want to be able to be in a position where if in fact it is strongly concluded by the scientists that we need Title 42, that we be able to do that. But there has been no decision on extending Title 42. Thank you.
Mr. President, how long can the U.S. maintain?
Yeah, how long can I just don't know. I don't know if that's real. I'm sorry. I just don't, it's kind of hard there because you only catch a portion of it. Just never know, man. With this guy, you don't know. Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Biden's speaking today. He's going to help out the Ukrainians. More economic aid coming their way. More weapons to fight the evil that is the pooter. That is good news. Very good news for them. He also, he wants to talk about, things like speaking softly.
To modernize Teddy Roosevelt's famous advice, sometimes we will speak softly and carry a large javelin.
Sometimes.
We're sending a lot of those in as well.
There's a lot of those in there, too. So is it going to help? Yeah, it's too little too late in some areas, in particular Mariupol, which is under constant barraging for the last God knows how long since this thing has begun. And that's not changing anytime soon. The battle to take it over, Putin has said he has won it. The one thing that is left is the giant factory with, I don't know how many people are actually in the factory. I heard it's about 1,000 people in the factory. And then I don't know how many soldiers are in there, but the soldiers are kind of at the point where they realize that, look, the end is near for them, and they would like to see the people get out safely. But Putin has signaled, we gave you a chance to surrender. You're not going to do it. We're not going to pummel you, but we're going to cut you off from everything. So instead of a quick death, potentially a slow death.
Vladimir Putin has already said he's kind of announced his victory in that city. What we're now waiting to see is whether these civilians can get out of that steel plant itself. There were reports that something like 1,000 civilians were hunkered down in those basements underneath. So that will be the priority of the Ukrainians, getting them out.
Yeah, and they're there, and it is so picture this. It's a 4 square mile factory. It is an actual little city that has undergrounds in some portions of it, but they don't have any food. They don't have any water. They've got nothing, and what little they had is run out.
We just saw 3 buses pull up, packed full of people. I'd say in each one maybe about 30 people standing room only, mostly women and children and elderly people. I spoke to one man who got off, Vitaly. He was a man, I think probably in his late 60s, in his 70s, and he had told me he was living underground for more than 20 days.
That's what's going on there. So it is going to be people are appealing to Putin, and you know Putin. He's not having any of it. He doesn't want any part of whatever it is that is going on over there. He is going to do his own thing. In fact, yesterday he decided it was best that he practice with some of his new toys he's got and some nuclear devices.
Russia releasing video of this intercontinental ballistic missile test, modernizing a key strategic weapon just as it presses forward with its new offensive in the Donbas region of Ukraine. Russian President Vladimir Putin bragging that the launch was a momentous event.
This truly unique weapon will strengthen the combat potential of our armed forces, reliably ensure Russia's security from external threats, and provide food for thought for those who try to threaten our country.
Okay, so let's take apart some of that. So external threats, meaning you're outside of my country. Okay, so you're Russia. And as we've learned from the vice president, which is a country in Europe, and Ukraine is also a country in Europe. So they're separate. You went into their country. So you went from being worried about external getting to you, that you decided you were going to go and externally attack someone else. Oh, yeah, there's that. And you want everybody to know that you have this newfangled weapon, in the name.
The RS-28 Sarmat missile, sometimes called the Satan II, was revealed back in 2016. Russia claims it can carry multiple nuclear warheads and has a range of more than 6,800 miles, making it potentially capable of striking the U.S. The Pentagon says the test was not a surprise. But a senior U.S. defense official still said the launch was not something that would be done by a responsible nuclear power in the current tense environment.
Well, here's something. A responsible nuclear power or country wouldn't have invaded their neighbor on the pretenses that, they're full of Nazis. Nazis are running the country. It was our country first. It was, they stuck their tongue out at us. It was the Jews' fault. It was the fault of the Americans. It's NATO's fault. I mean, whatever it is, at whatever time it needs to be, responsible nations don't do that. So, not a surprise. Will not be a surprise when he does it again if we don't stand up and say, hey, we get it. You got weapons. So do we. Now what? Where do we go from here? I mean, is your goal mutual destruction? Based on threats, you feel that you should have, because when I hear people, I make the argument that Biden, again, I have nothing against him. I want my president to succeed. He's not succeeding. Inflation through the roof. I think he's over Jimmy Carter's level at this point at the rate he's going, which, God, I hope not. He's failed in so many things. They always talk about, they need a win. They need a win. They should talk about wins. Where are their wins? They have no wins. And when it comes to Ukraine, he has not been the guy that has united NATO. Russia attacking Zelensky and terrifying the other nations of what may come has united NATO. Not Biden. Biden's not. Nobody's rallying around Joe Biden. Nobody is. Nobody's rallying around and going, that guy. This is the guy who told Zelensky, you need to leave the country. Think about that. He's the guy that told Zelensky at the beginning of this, you need to leave the country, and then once you're out of the country, we'll set up your de facto, base somewhere else. And Zelensky's like, no. So no, he's not. This isn't the guy to be leading in this situation. He has struggled and continues to do so. And God, it sucks because I wanted him not to, but he's just not up for this job. And they're, good God. Does anybody really, like, when they look at him, think for a moment that he's like a sound leader? And I don't care about Trump. Take away Trump. If your thing is, well, Trump would have, or Trump was this, and Trump, look what he did, he was mean to NATO and stuff. But no, I don't care about any of those things. Just from an actual perspective of, I'm not coming at this from partisan politics. Do I look at him and say, maybe he's not the guy to lead us in this particular situation? You're so mean, Chad. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. A ton of stuff to get to, and we're going to jump on the chaos at the Capitol yesterday, but we're also going to talk about a 8-year-old that was arrested. So he's arrested for stealing chips, but was he really arrested? And why is it that parents went from thankful to lawyering up? It's what it feels like. Talk about that coming up. MyPillow, towels galore, just for you. Save dollars. Normally $109.99. Now yours for $39.99. So I've got several of these towels, and they're big. So you get 6 towels. I've got big ones. I got the hand towels, and I got the washcloths. What I love about them, the cotton is amazing. Right here in the United States of America, the feel is great. So it's not lotiony. You ever you got a towel and you go to dry off, and all it does is it seems to. Not the towel's still not wet, even though you're trying to dry off. I hate that. And they're not scratchy. They're soft and absorbent, and it's awesome. Normally $109.99. Yours right now for $39.99. That's $39.99 coming straight to you. You got deep discounts on all of their amazing products, including the My Slippers and the mattress topper, which is my favorite. But you will love these towels. Go to mypillow.com/Benson. MyPillow.com/Benson. Take advantage today. Call 800-983-4975. 800-983-4975 or mypillow.com/Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Helen Keller is a Nazi terrorist that is a male. Is that what you're telling me right now?
Yeah.
Are you thinking of Hitler?
Who's Hitler?
Vaccines work, but only the Chad Benson Show is 100% effective against stupidity.
Do you know what D-Day is? D-Day.
A person? A rapper?
God, Karen, you are so stupid.
Check us out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and wherever you find your favorite woke-free podcasts. This is the Chad Benson Show.
To growing outrage over the video of a police officer in Syracuse, New York, putting a crying 8-year-old boy into the back of a cruiser after the boy was reportedly accused of stealing a bag of chips.
Here's a story that the child was not handcuffed. He was not arrested.
Police actually drove him home to his father. He's not facing any charges. It seems like that could and should be the end of the story. But this story comes with video. What is now a bona fide viral video in which you see and hear a screaming 8-year-old being handled by police. A video that has now conjured up all too familiar emotions and sparked an all too familiar debate.
Okay, first of all, emotions are worthless. What's the reality of this? People they're treating him like he's a murderer. They're doing all these things, right? Governor Kathy Hochul called the video heart-wrenching during the event. Okay, we saw a little bit of the video that was posted because that's all you get. You don't get the entire thing. Well, why are the police there? Well, this kid supposedly stole something. By the way, the police have said, we know who the kid is. We're familiar. We've apparently had some run-ins with him already. Yeah, it's tough. He's sitting there screaming. It's hard. But did he still steal it? I mean, did he steal chips? And what? Was he just walking down the street and they just pulled him over on his bike and say, hey, man, where'd you get them chips? Is that what happened? I think it's a fair question to ask.
Millions of people online have seen
what is y'all doing
and are reacting to this video of an 8-year-old child stopped by Syracuse police.
You're stealing stuff. If he breaks into your house, you steal something. Nah, man. What, he stole a bag of chips?
The boy screaming and sobbing while being placed in the back of a police cruiser by 3 officers after they say he stole a bag of chips from a local store.
Take a guess what I'm doing. Hey, he like a baby to me. Why you? Guess what I'm doing.
Okay, so he's crying. And this guy's getting involved. Looks like a baby to me. All that may be true. But would you like somebody to break in? Oh, no, he's still a bag of chips. Does that make it right? Well, it's a bag of chips, so it's no big deal. No, it's again, it goes back to this is how we get into these messes where we have DAs that allow people to run wild and people feel it's okay to steal a bunch of stuff because they're really not going to do anything. And maybe if there's intervention a little early in certain things, that there's a different outcome down the road. I could easily ask, why were the police called at all in this situation? Why didn't the storekeeper just chalk it up to, oh, well, that's what he gets to do? Or why did you call the cops or any of those things? So what did the cops do? Because you know they're mean and you know they're evil. So what did they do?
Call your sergeant. Call your sergeant. Call your sergeant, man.
The officers later dropped off the young boy to his father, who at the time said the officers were friendly. But after seeing the video, wants to file a complaint with police. And the mayor said in his statement that the officer knew the child from previous interactions but didn't go into further detail. You also see the officers there at the end. They take the time, they put the kid's bike in the back and take him home. But you also don't hear, it's a longer video. The guy taking the video says, I'm taking this video to help to make sure you all don't kill him because that's what you all do.
Yeah. Motion. That's what they do. They were going to go drop him off and kill him because that's what every cop does. That's why they're filming you. That's such, my God, that is so stupid. It's just so asinine and stupid. Stop being a victim. Well, why did they know this boy? They're familiar with him. Originally, Dad said, thank you. They didn't press charges. They took his bike home. Some of you listening right now, you might be black, you may be white. You may be wrong, you may be right. That's a song for PIL. But you've done something wrong. And the cops found out. And you knew mom and dad were going to be pissed. And the cops brought you home. Or they called they called your parents. And you were upset. And you were crying too. And you were super upset because you'd done something wrong and you were going to have to pay the price to mom and dad. Well, that's just, it's not right. No, it looks bad and it's emotion, but that's so much of what it is. It's emotion. The kid got caught doing something potentially. He's not charged with anything. And the cops took him home. Well, yeah, I got to film it so he's not killed.
This is a small 8-year-old boy. And when you look at why someone would be treated like this, he wasn't a threat. And under the use of force policy, they're supposed to consider that. How old is the person? How large is the person? How serious is this crime? I think it is an unreasonable use of force.
Use of force? They act like they, oh yeah, you didn't know what happened? Yeah. They tasered him. That's why he filmed the video, so they don't kill him. It's common sense, right? And it's horrible. It's that this kid thought he potentially could take something. It's horrible that the police were called, and he even had to be called because somebody decided, hey, this kid, maybe it's whatever happened, maybe he'll learn a lesson. But again, the cops also said, well, we've had our run-ins with him before. You have? Is he a Make-A-Wish kid or something like that? It's not very nice, Chad. I just think there's always more to a story, but the emotion takes over, and then everybody loses any logical thought. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
People tweet at me, text the program, 323-538-2423. That's 323-538-CHAD. Somebody says, I can't believe that you're not appalled by that child being arrested. The child wasn't arrested. The little 8-year-old boy supposedly stole chips. The cops took him home. Dad said thank you. The cops, by the way, said, we know who this kid is. We've had a run-in with him before. They won't say what happened, but they said that. Right? Then the video came out, and you know what Dad did? He went, cha-ching. The governor comes out. It's horrible and heartbreaking. My little daughter yesterday, Charlie, is super manipulative in a cute way because she's stupid smart. You feel stupid smart. Come on, she's really smart. She was crying. If you'd have walked in and see, she'd thrown herself on the floor. It was hilarious, right? Because she had done something wrong. And so she was looking for mercy. Well, if you take a video for a little while and a kid's scared and you've got, maybe, by the way, I mean, could you not spin it? Maybe the kid's been threatened by dad. If you do anything more wrong, you're going to pay for it at home. But no. Instead, it's all cops are evil, and we're filming this video because you may kill him because that's what you do. So freaking stupid. It is. We talked about this earlier this week. I'm going to bring it up again. Like, it's free money is what it is, right? You guys remember the birthday party guy, right? Like, oh, God, his birthday. I have somebody threw a party. Somebody threw a birthday party.
Others hate birthday parties, and probably the worst kind of birthday party for those people are office birthday parties. But can you actually sue someone for throwing you a birthday party against your wishes? There's a Kentucky man who will give you 450,000 reasons why. The answer is yes. I don't want one. He says this not because he hates his boss or his workplace or the other employees. It's more that he doesn't like being the center of attention. He actually has a social anxiety disorder where if he is the center of attention, it could trigger a panic attack.
Okay. All right. So somebody drops the ball, forgets, right? Because there's plenty of employees, and this guy has a panic attack. And then he has more panic attacks. And people got on me this week. How dare you? You know what I'm looking at? I'm looking at a bunch of people in Ukraine who are trying to survive, not get over their social anxiety, but literally trying to survive. And we have allowed just, people to be coddled to the point of insanity. He's got social anxiety disorder. PTSD over his birthday party. We should give him $500,000. Really? Is that what we should do? We should give him $500,000 because his birthday party was so terrifying? And a gentleman the other day we talked about this, he tweeted at me and he said, well, what if it was, the person forgot, threw a party. It wasn't like she did it on purpose. It was like, hey, man, we really hate this guy, so let's throw him a birthday party. So he freaks out. And then they eventually let him go. Well, why'd they let him go? Well, they were worried because apparently he had some issues. And potentially they're worried about the way that he has raged. And they have other employees. Now, here's the thing. All those other employees, you guys should sue for being in a hostile work environment that throws unwanted birthday parties to people who may lose their mind. I have PTSD. Oh, Chad, just being so mean. We are so I don't even know what it is anymore. It's just what is? We are. And so, I mean, it is. It's like we're fighting again over. I saw how many people put that damn mask on and take pictures, right? You got all these, Mika and Joe. Yeah, we're on an airplane. We're putting our mask on, showing everybody how much we hate Trump and how great we are. Are we getting our social points? Look at us. We're doing our part. And you're making fun of the COVID people again. No, it's so stupid that and if you dare, are you really terrified to get on an airplane without wearing a mask? Are you really terrified to get on an airplane without wearing a mask? Well, yeah, because, if you're not wearing a mask, the plane may crash. It's just logic. We've lost the plot in this country on too many occasions. Speaking of COVID, how long should you social distance?
The long social distancing is a term we use to refer to people who say, even after the pandemic's over, they don't plan to return to their normal work-related activities. Something like 10% of the population says they're going to continue social distancing just as they did during the pandemic. And then there's a larger share of folks who say, well, I'm not going to return all the way I used to behave. I'm going to avoid crowded elevators, crowded subways, trains, and so on. So that's what we mean by long social distancing.
So you're not going to return to a normal way of life because you are that freaked out about something. You don't think that's overkill? You don't think that's a little much? And there's people around here that I look at. I'm like, wow, that's a bit odd. It's like I'll never not wear a mask. I'm like, you're wearing a mask that doesn't work. You're wearing a mask that it's like my daughter's binky, right? It's like it's a safety blanket. It doesn't work based on the Omicron variant that's out there, or the BA Baracus 2 variant or whatever. It doesn't stop anything. If you've got an N97, you've got health reasons, and you want to be, at that point, should you even be around people if you're that worried about it?
And what we find is that people who express a desire to continue social distancing are less likely to be in the workforce going forward in the coming months and years. Many people tell us that they're concerned about infection risk, either infection from COVID or because it's now much more salient in their minds, just infection risks in general. If you've been through a searing experience with COVID personally, then you think about these infection risks. And for some people, it makes them reluctant to return to the kinds of activities they used to take for granted.
Well, who's paying for it? I think that's a fair question. I mean, you know what I think we're going to start to see? And you mark my words, people are going to get on disability because they can't work because their fear of COVID. That's coming.
Some of them will probably succeed in eventually finding a job that will allow them to work remotely and satisfy their desires to work from home. But many of them won't. And these were people who might not have been earning that much before. They might have been the secondary earner in their household. So now they're just going to take the smaller income that comes along with working less. Some people may end up on social assistance. Some of these people, especially the older people, have just decided they're going to retire early.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's fine. I mean, if you got enough money and want to retire early and, you're like, I don't want to go out and get another job, but it's just, that's what we have. We have this weird society of weakness that's just, and it's sad. It is. I mean, the best way to describe it is, it's sad. And I see it in a lot of the young kids around here. It's like we have this fear of everything. And so many of these people, young kids, old, even some older, but they've been so enabled. And people have bent over backwards on so many occasions to try to do certain things that I just, so I'm never going to go back to work because I'm so terrified of something. Well, I think you need to seek help at that point. And if you're that terrified, how can you allow, like, if you're the second earner in the house, how do you allow somebody to leave the house and come back in the house? Because they could bring something with them. I don't know. How do we get here? You do wonder that every once in a while. I blame the colleges. Blame mom and dad. I bet you're mean to your kids. I am not. But my kids are totally different. They are. Like, my son loves his little sister, right? And just, he lives for her. But my son is super sensitive. A lot of his kids, his age, are very sensitive. I know that. They're very sensitive. They like to joke around, but they like to be the ones who get to joke. They don't like when other people joke at them or any of that stuff. He's asked me all the time, because he'll see me around some of my other friends, and we'll, bust each other's balls. It's like, Dad, how could you do that? I mean, what do you mean? He's like, but you guys you're making fun of each other, like really getting into it and stuff. And I mean, that's what you're supposed to do, man. So we love each other. It's all in jest. But my daughter, on the other hand, she is not sensitive. We're working on the empathy. We are. She's got a lot of empathy, but she's also more full of piss and vinegar. And maybe that's because my son, lives with his mom, and Charlie lives with, my wife and I, and it's, and it's just an interesting thing, and like for Charlie, for a lot, I think that's the way we were raised, get up, don't stop. We don't do enough of that anymore with kids. We're just like, oh, no, here, let me move everything out of your way so you can get to where you're going. You've been wronged. That's why kids nowadays, everybody has PTSD. Man, I got into it the other day. I'll talk about it on the other side. I got into it the other day because I said something that offended a few people, which is not a shocker anymore. And it's I think it's real. I think it's a real thing. We were talking about that Japanese TV show where they let those kids go out and do stuff and, spread their wings and deal with things on their own. And I said something up. I brought something else up, and a couple people out in the newsroom really kind of got mad at me. And I just said, that's why you need those things. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Tweet at us. We'll talk about that. Wrap it up. Maybe a little Johnny Depp. Speaking of insane, they're adults and they're insane. And talk about enabled. Whoa! Eden Pure. Your house doesn't smell good for whatever reason, right? I'm not here to judge. I'm judging. Maybe you're a smoker. Maybe the people that lived there before you smoked. Maybe you like to cook fish in the microwave, and maybe you're just bad at cooking altogether, or you've got tons of cats. Whatever it is, you'd love to get rid of the smells, but you don't know what to do. Do what I did. Get Eden Pure, right? So they got the Oxyleaf 2 Thunderstorm. It's incredible. I love I got a 3-pack, then I got another 3-pack. So some for my new office because the people that were in there before me, let's just say they weren't the cleanest people, and there was some food left there. And then on the other side, at the house, my father-in-law died. He was a smoker, and because he was a smoker, the house smelled like smoke. And so I said, let's put these throughout the house, killed everything. And it does. It just within moments. You will smell the difference, as I like to say. Why don't you do this? Try it for yourself. Go to EdenPureDeals.com and use code CHAD3. It's a $200 savings. They're going to ship right to you. It's going to be absolutely free shipping. EdenPureDeals.com. Code is CHAD and the number 3. EdenPureDeals.com. Code CHAD3. Get these. No air purifier like it around. Plug it right in the wall. You're not going to have to buy filters. You will truly smell the difference. EdenPureDeals.com. Use code CHAD3 to save. Chad Benson Show.
Welcome to Chad. No, not the country. The institution. The Chad Benson Show.
That is us. You are you. People are freaking out. Probably PTSD because Elon Musk has secured funding for a potential bid to purchase Twitter. Well, doesn't he have all that money? Yeah, but you don't have $47 billion in cash sitting around. That's just not the way it works. And most of his stuff's tied up in stock. So what he does is he's going to go and he leverages the stock and equity financing and through another couple other senior fundings from like Morgan Stanley and debt financing through them. And you go and you get it all. And that's the way that works. And he offered to buy Twitter for $54.20, which is almost $8 higher than now. And if you are a shareholder, I would say that seems like it's pretty good. I mean, it's not like it's not a bad thing, right? Maybe we take a listen, but what would happen? What would happen? Well, I guess what would happen is there'd be some more people that opinions would hurt other people's, but they'd bully people. And that brings me back to this. So the other day we were talking about that kid show where the little Chinese or Japanese kids from like 2 to 6, they run errands and they go in the city and they do stuff, and mom and dad aren't around. And again, it's much different. Japan's a much different culture. But which we couldn't do here. But the whole thing is it's about problem solving. And I mean, would I have trouble with a 3-year-old, 3-year-old and 5-year-old? Yeah, 5-year-old, maybe not so much. A 3-year-old, a 2-year-old, one of them was like 2, but. And I said, yeah, well, I said, we were all young. We did stuff like that. And a couple of the kids around here, I think kids, they're in their early 20s, mid-20s. They said something like, well, I don't know if we could do stuff. I said, well, we just grew up in a different time. I said, you guys think everybody's a bully. And I said, to be honest, I said, bullies aren't the worst thing in the world. I said, bullies, and by the way, everybody's a bully now. I said, bullies in our day, they were a necessary evil in some weird way because you learned how to navigate with people you couldn't stand. And it wasn't the worst thing. And many times it gave you a little, and we were able to problem solve and do stuff like that. And there's a difference between somebody who wants to beat you to death, right? And, somebody who's just that kind of atypical bully who pokes fun and is rude and this, that, and the other, which is what most kids are. Yeah, there's some loonies out there is, but about the reaction to people. And I'm like, it's totally different. I get it. It's just a different world, but that's why everybody has PTSD. Breaking news. We'll hit on this tomorrow for sure. CNN Plus is being shut down less than a month after it started. But I just signed up, said nobody ever. Solid fun show today. We'll do it again tomorrow. You guys have a blessed rest of your gorgeous mini Friday Light. We'll do it again, as always. Oh, hold on. I see you Friday. Night-night, Jack.
This is The Chad Benson Show.